basic knowledge about this virus on the part of the Supreme Court justices, Sotomayor, Breyer, even Kagan, who's really smart. Just on that fact, Harmeet, your comments.
Thanks,
well, Laura, thanks for having me. And the Daily Wire is my client, and they're one of the parties before the Supreme
Don't have
Court
much choice,
filed one of these briefs. And it was really shocking to see. I would not call it misinformation, Laura. I think the justices are fully aware of the facts in these circumstances. I think the problem is that they were hamming for the cameras
a different
and
night,
viewed themselves really as polemicists for a particular position. And to me, that kind of speaks that they felt like they were in the minority, the three justices in question, and I think they know fully well what is actually going on here. And some of that rhetoric and some of that factual material that isn't in the record is really unusual in a court hearing. We're taught as lawyers not to come to the court and tell them what you saw on television last night as an argument. That's a violation of court rules. But justices apparently are free to do exactly that and import emotional and fact-free arguments there, and it really undermines credibility of the court. But overall, I thought the conservative justices, I'm hoping 5 solid votes, and I think Justice Roberts is the one that the conservative, the challengers to the OSHA mandate, they were really aiming their arguments at Justice Roberts to try to convince him and make it 6-3.
Ben, I only got to hear about half of the argument today, but I'm not sure I agree with Harmeet that they knew what they were saying was false. I actually think they spend a lot of their time watching CNN and reading the New York Times. And
that's what they do.
It takes them a long time to.
Well, that's the side they're on. That's with who they're sticking up for. They're not sticking up for Americans.
But she's obviously just glued to CNN.
They're supposed to be unbiased. They're not supposed to have any political ties whatsoever. And they're clearly political.
I have enormous respect for both of you as attorneys, but I have to take your side of this, Laura. One of my mantras about Washington is that we should always consider the possibility we are led by idiots.
Exactly.
And I think in this case, we had a very revelatory day in terms of the idiocy of these.
Look at Joe Biden. I mean, come on.
The High Court, who are bowed down to and respected for being wise and serious and the like, and yet we're just perpetuating not just misinformation or something like that, the fake news coming from inside the court, but really things that would completely skew your perspective on the world and the way that Americans are living. The idea that Breyer advanced, that if we just, if this mandate was put into place tomorrow, if it was upheld tomorrow, that 100% of these types of cases would be.
It's just ludicrous.
That's just, it's insulting on so many different levels. I can't believe that. I realize that everything we heard that you just played, by the way, that was stupid, but it's very representative of how stupid this whole thing was. But the Breyer one, I was aghast as I was listening to it. Is he actually making this argument? It's ridiculous.
Exactly.